strong people finally getting into our own, Give me respect. Make it, man. No fake it, just take it.
What's good, everyone? It's your boy Santo G, back at it. You already know, spreading unity, prosperity, and respect, man. Above all. So today, I wanted to give you guys another war story. I wanted to tell you guys pretty much the time that my Sally, my Bunky, Scrappy took off on the homie that had the yard. And then it led me to have to remove my Bunky, to have to get two homies to pretty much smash out my Bunky, you know what I'm saying? And before you guys jump the gun like, oh, that's fucked up, so on and so forth, let's start with the beginning of the story, how everything transpired. I'm gonna tell you guys all the juicy details and everything. But before we get into this video, if you're new here, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, tap that notification bell, that way you're notified when I drop future content. So this story, we're back in Sat F in B Yard. We're still there. So when I get there, I end up moving with the homie Scrappy from National City, from the Acres. Shout out my boy. So he moves me with him. I want to say I'm there like a good 6 months. And then he ends up getting into it with the homie that has the yard, because the homie that has the yard finds out that my Bunky is buying dope off of the norteños and selling it to the homies. But he's buying it in bulk. They're hooking him up, and then he's papering it into like little 50s, 100s, 25s, just to make money, hygiene, food, and to stack up a little bit of money. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't even doing it as far as sending money to the street on some big paper stuff. It was just mainly he was getting high and he was using the little excess to make some money and pretty much keep himself taken care of, you know what I'm saying, in there, so he wouldn't have to call home and ask them for money. So the homie that has the yard ends up finding out that he's doing business with the norteños, and he tries to push the issue on them, right? But my Bunky comes and he tells me, he's like, hey, this fool's pushing the issue on me for buying dope from the northerners, but he's doing the same thing. He's buying dope from the northerners and he's selling it to the homies. But he's trying to tell me that the only difference is that all the money he's making, he's sending it to the big homies. And me, I'm just doing it for my own, to just my own gain. I'm not kicking nothing to no one or nothing, you know what I'm saying? So I understood where both of them were coming from, you know what I'm saying? But you can't nitpick, you can't pick and choose, you know what I'm saying? Especially when you have the homie overseeing a building for you. Like, all right, if you don't want him to go around you, well then give him the same prices that you're getting it for. You know what I'm saying? If that's the case, you don't want him to go around you. Well, look, he said he's giving it to you for this much. Give it to me for that much. You middleman it. I'm getting it directly from you. Or say put an extra like 20 bucks or something, you know what I mean? But not nothing outrageous to where, all right, I'm getting a gram directly from him for 150 and I'm going to sell it to you for 300. Or I'm going to sell it to you for 250. Like, come on, that's not even nothing rational to where it's like. So they got into it over that, over dope. So they end up going to the yard, and before we hit the yard, my Bunky's like, look, fool, I'm gonna go get at him, and if he says anything wrong, I'm gonna just flight him. You know what I'm saying? And then I just told him, I'm like, fuck, like, you know, doing that, like, you don't do that. We don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't flight the homie that has the yard. You know what I'm saying? If anything, call whoever you need to call and step him down, if anything. You know what I'm saying? But just flighting him because you don't like what he's doing, like, that's a little risky, you know? So I just told him, like, look, if you get down with him, just make sure you get caught. Make sure you take him to the back so that way you can explain your side. He can explain his side. You guys are both there. You know what I'm saying? Because if you flight him and he don't go to the back, you know you're going to get moved on. He's going to have you removed off tops. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, yeah. Boom. He goes to the yard. They end up talking, woo, woo, boom, they start getting down. Boop, 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 boop. And they're getting down for a minute. The CO see it, letting them get down because they see it's just a one-on-one. They ain't trying to do no paperwork or nothing, you know what I'm saying? So they just let it go down. They're right there, gassed out, boop, 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 still going. Boom, it finishes. My bunkie goes back inside the building, I stay outside. And sure enough, he starts conspiring, like, hey, I want him gone, woo, woo, wah, woo, 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 wah. He wanted him gone hard candy, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, nah, homie, like, you're not gonna do that to my bunkie, you know what I'm saying? Like, straight up. So, long story short, he's like, hey, I need him to go, you know what I'm saying? So, I go inside the building and I tell my bunkie, like, hey, fool, you know, I told you he's gonna want you gone, fool, you know what I'm saying? Like, that fool's gonna want you gone. So, next thing you know, boom, the homie calls me out to the yard again. I go out to the yard and I'm right there talking to him, and he's like, nah, I don't want him gone, you know, like, just leave him here. I don't want him gone. So then another homie, I'm not gonna say no names, but he's right there and he's like, hey, my boy, like, I get it, but you have to, he has to go. All these other races and these other cars saw you guys getting down in the middle of the yard. What type of message are you sending to these other people by them just seeing you guys getting down and nothing happens to him? Come on. You know what I'm saying? It's bad enough, like, honestly, them getting down in the middle of the yard, that's how you know the homie that had the yard was fucking up. Because if anybody flights the homie that has the yard off top, that person gets packed out. Whoever his boys were should have jumped and packed out my bunkie. And if that would have happened, I would have had to jump in and help my bunkie, you know? So, in a way, I'm kind of glad that didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? They just ended up doing a one-on-one. But they ended up moving on my bunkie. And I'm calling my bunkie to come outside, like, hey, come outside, like, thinking that they're gonna talk it out. And he didn't even make it out. On his way out, two homies jumped on him. Boop, 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 boop. And they took him out. So, not per se, I'm not the one that really, like, hey, you know what I'm saying? But I know from the outside looking in, he probably felt a certain way. At least that's what I thought. Fast forward another 6 months, when they boop, bow, 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 jump on me, I end up going to F yard. And I end up seeing him in F yard. And that ends up becoming my bunkie again in F yard. And we end up going through all kinds of other little struggles and all kinds of wars on F yard. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get into those a little bit later. On this one, I just wanted to say the time when my bunkie got down with the homie that had the yard, and then I had to pretty much move on my bunkie, you know what I'm saying? Remove my bunkie because of that situation. And I told him what was gonna happen. He knew what was gonna happen, and my boy held it down. That's why I'm saying his name. That's why I'm saying his barrio, because my boy Scrappy from the Acres, from National City, some motherfucking G. He's a rider, you know what I'm saying? He went out there, boop, 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 stood up for what he believed in. He took what he had coming, and my boy kept it like a G, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, we were able to see each other again on F yard, and we became bunkies. And you know what I mean? That's my boy till this day, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna leave you guys here. I'm gonna go inside and eat. I just came back from picking up my daughter from school. I'm gonna drop this one tomorrow in the morning or the afternoon. I'm not sure yet. I'm gonna try to see if I could get another video in. But this is just another Friday night special, another little war stories, or Friday morning special. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Killer Kush. I'm about to smoke some of this Killer Kush pre-roll right here, the Louis V. You know what I'm saying? You can't go wrong with the Killer Kush. Unity, prosperity, and respect above all.